Are you someone who is so high performing that you're edging on burnout and you're struggling to think about, am I ready to take on a new role, a new ambition? Worried that the burnout will get worse and the stress will get worse. Well, today I have Christine with me, and I am so excited because we're going to dive into burnout. We're going to dive into what causes it
Mm,
and how you can implement some things in place so that you can show up ready for that promotion and not worry about burnout going forward in the future. Christine, it's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for having me. And I'm thrilled to get to know your audience a little bit more.
Wonderful. We're excited to have you. So tell me a little bit about burnout. Like, what attracted you to this topic
Mm,
specifically?
I don't know if I'd say it attracted me, but unfortunately, I have professionally burnt out twice
Ugh.
in my career. I have been a project manager in marketing and advertising in the pharmaceutical and healthcare space for over 15 years. And in all the things of climbing that corporate ladder and just the busyness of life, um, Christine did not have very strong boundaries and burn out professionally twice, like I mentioned. So I'm very passionate. I feel like I've got a lot of life experience, professional experience, and my goal, Nancy, is to help everybody not get to that point.
I think that's really powerful is to be able to recognize it and have practices
Mhm.
in place because
Yeah.
burnout is the latest stat I saw was 4 out of 10 people in the US struggle with burnout. I
Mhm.
suspect it's actually higher. That's just the amount that's actually reported.
Yeah.
And so when what is burnout? How does somebody know that they're on that path to burning out?
Yeah. So those stats are actually very fascinating. I do, in my heart, believe that those numbers are higher. It might not just be like recorded. But my definition of burnout is complete exhaustion. You or one is not managing that inner chaos, stress, limiting beliefs, and having a really hard time focusing on what non negotiables and priorities in life. It is and can impact people differently. Mostly people are not sleeping properly, they're not taking care of themselves, mind, body, and soul. They are usually, I call the 3 Ps: people pleasing, perfectionism, and procrastination. And really, everything in a nutshell just comes spiraling into that abyss of overwhelm. So, if somebody's not managing all of that, they can tend to be heading towards burnout. But burnout actually happens when your nervous system is actually shutting down and you are beyond just exhausted.
And so as somebody who climbed the corporate ladder and is driven and a high achieving, how
Mhm.
do I get the mindset that this is what I'm supposed to be doing versus recognizing that I'm on this path of destruction?
Yeah, great question. So, to be mindful of one's priorities and their core values is generally like the baseline on where I like to start with people from a coaching perspective. All things mindset, if we're not clear on what our core values are and what our non negotiables are in life, it's really hard to prioritize, Nancy. And the big part of overwhelm happens and the big part of burnout happens because we are not prioritizing, whether that's ourselves and or everything else that might be or should be at the top of that list. So taking things in bite-sized chunks, planning your boundaries and recognizing your boundaries and what are your non-negotiables. I think I might have said that already, but that's something that I'm super passionate about. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think post COVID, people are starting to understand
Mhm.
more the words non-negotiables.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things I would have to say is I was not good with boundaries or non-negotiables in my career
Hmm.
as well. And so as somebody who's on the high performance trail, so for example, my values are excellence. My values relate a lot to that methodology of hard work and doing those things.
Hmm.
How's that those values actually contradicting what I
Hmm.
should be doing from a perspective of avoiding burnout, reducing that so that I can be more successful?
Yeah. So my suggestion for everybody listening is, and I applaud that you are high achieving professionals. If we take a step back and even ask ourselves individually, what is our personal non negotiable, singular or plural? That's going to help navigate your professional life. So for me, I wasn't taking care of myself in any way, shape, or form. I wasn't working out. Some of my non negotiables now, Nancy, are that I work out so many days a week. I do mindset work. I spend time, journaling. I have a little routine of things for me that are non negotiables. I will not go about my day without a solid morning routine and a night routine. And for me, after fine tuning all of that, they are like my pillars of the day. So I really love to dive in and ask people, and I'm asking the audience right now, what could you do to fill up your cup from a personal care perspective, mind, body, and or soul, that you can make a routine and make your non-negotiables? Because if you're not filling your cup up, then you're not going to be able to fill up the cup of everybody else that you're taking care of, whether that's in your personal life and or your professional life. So for me, if I didn't have my evening pillar, I would probably just keep working and or not know where that boundary was that I need to stop tonight because I have, plans with my husband for dinner or whatever that evening pillar is going to look like for you.
As I was listening to you list off your non-negotiables, one of mine is ballroom dance. And so ballroom dance is my freedom to
Love
be
that.
able to relax. And and what I love about it is it's an hour drive to
Mm,
where it is. So I literally have to stop doing work to
mhm.
go. And I've been doing it for 20 years, but it's that one non-negotiable that kind of is like the center hole
Yeah.
for me. Yeah.
And I just saw you light up when you said that, right? So obviously that brings you joy.
Mhm.
And I think that's so important for us to all identify what in our lives not only are a priority and non negotiables, but what really lights us up, what brings us joy. And we need to make that a priority because it's not magically going to happen. We're not going to squeeze that in. And to plan for it and to look forward to it is part of that enjoyment, in my opinion. Yeah.
So, Christine, tell me, why is this important to helping me get up the corporate ladder?
Yes. So if you are the best version of yourself, filling your cup and charging yourself, filling yourself with joy, recognize and respect your boundaries and have those pillars in place, which I'm certainly happy to help identify from a coaching perspective, and doing our best to keep our mindset in a healthy, positive place, we are going to be able to step forward and be that better employee, that better partner, that better business associate, that better colleague. And we're going to bring next level value to the table and be, I don't know, I'm a creative problem solver. And I know when everything else is in flow for me and I'm at my best, I'm sharper, I'm more inept to be making those decisions. And the other main reason why it's important, without having goals for ourselves, we're not going to be able to achieve our goals professionally as well. So much like building blocks and puzzle pieces, right? We are filling our cup and doing our best, mind, body, and soul, to be able to do that at work as well.
What I love is how this ties into other strategies.
Mm.
So we have all kinds of other really cool strategies about how to show up and sell yourself, how to show up and network and have that $1 million path or whatever it is that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing: if you are burnt out
Mm.
or on the path to burnout, then your ability to do those starts to fall apart.
Absolutely. Both from an energetic perspective, from a mindset perspective, and from a quality of whether it's work, life, that harmony in between, right? Like, to not be able to dial in and be that next level best self for that networking group, for your next meeting, for that project that you're working on, for your big goal that you're working towards to continue to grow. The people around you are going to notice if you are starting to slide downhill, whether that's an energetic perspective, whether that's a knowledge-based perspective, whether that's the attention to detail and or just being off, right? Like, it's going to affect everything.
Very true. Very true. I often say to people, if you look at the leaders who you respect the most, are they the ones that are like the whirling dervish? Or are they the ones that just have this serene calmness to them?
Mm-hmm.
And so what Christine is offering is this opportunity to find this serene calmness in you so that you can show up as somebody who you want to follow.
Yes. Yeah, Nancy, I do want to just add really quick, and this was part of my journey. So if this is a nugget to help anybody listening, you might want to like grab on, but if it doesn't resonate with you, you can let it breeze on by. But the nugget is, by saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else.
So true.
So I'm not implying that one should be saying no to everything, but we really should be making sure before we are saying yes or we are saying no, that we're checking in with ourselves. And how does that align with our core values, our top priorities, and our non-negotiables, and our goals? So if that answer is, I believe it to be a yes, then my next question to myself is, what am I saying no to or deprioritizing? Because everything cannot happen all at one time. And that is the nugget that once I realize that and start to embrace that and build that practice into my day to day, that was like the game changer. So, yeah.
Yeah. And when you are a high performer taking on everything, you're actually saying no to your promotion.
Yes, correct.
Right? We're all here to talk about getting promoted. And so when you become so busy in the busyness of doing and burn yourself out, you're saying no to your promotion.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah, there's as you were saying that, there were so many things popping up in my head, and interestingly enough, one of the speakers who ended up deciding to be one of the speakers, and I'm grateful she did, but she said to me, Nancy, I'm putting in a practice where I am saying, give me some time to think about it, and then I will come to you, because she was known to say yes over and over and over again. And she's like, I need to like learn to control my yes, to let me think about it and see if it fits in my schedule. And I thought it was such a brilliant move.
It really is. My add to that is if something's going to take me more than 15 minutes to a half an hour to do, if that yes is going to be more than that, I should be able to at least take that much time to be able to process, digest, and then come back with heck yes. and or it might be a thank you for asking. I cannot right now. I'm overcommitted, or I, can't make that a priority right now. But the next time this comes up, I would love for you to consider me to do that. So it's that
Yeah.
yes, no, yes sandwich.
Yeah. Uh, that's such a beautiful way of describing it.
Yeah.
Christine, I would love to go deeper and deeper into burnout, but
Mhm.
we also have committed to everybody who's watching to keep these as clear chunk-sized bites of knowledge that you
Mhm.
can walk away with.
Yes.
And so if somebody wanted to reach out to you to kind of have some help with them avoiding burnout,
Mhm.
how can they work with you?
Yes. So I am offering everybody listening to this a free 45-minute transformational breakthrough session, which is a one-on-one coaching session with me. I'm going to drop the calendar link in below for you to get in on my calendar so we can talk about you either avoiding burnout or coming back from burnout and making sure that you're clear on what your non-negotiables are.
Awesome.
Yes.
I think all of us need to get better at understanding our non-negotiable so that we can communicate it clearly and that we can show up as the best version of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because as Christine said earlier, when you say yes to everything, you say no to something. And my question for you is, are you saying too many yeses and no to your promotion?
Mm.
Christine, it has been so lovely to have you on the show. Thank
You
you
too,
very much for
Nancy.
being.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope to connect with as many people as possible.
Awesome. And everybody watching, you are only one strategy away from that next promotion. And maybe this one is the one for you. So I encourage you, reach out and develop your strategy that helps you get promoted faster. Cheers and have a great day.
Ciao, ciao.